Welcome to this latest edition of the Real Deal Podcast. I'm your host, of course, Cyril Gerald Quinn, on this 17th of August, 2022. And I would describe this podcast as like the pre-party to the unofficial start of season 15 of the Real Deal Podcast. Like, it's not the official start of season 15. We'll start that once the NFL season starts officially, but it's pretty damn close. And of course, we couldn't do this unofficially or officially start the season 15 without one Robert Sapp, a rested and, shall I say, rejuvenated Robert Sapp.
Rejuvenated. Let's go. Ready. Let's do this.
Welcome back, sir. How you doing?
Good. We feeling good. How you doing?
I'm great, man. Just getting ready just for this NFL season.
Sir.
Are you
best NFL season of all time? Wait, what? That was the question. Got it. Okay.
No, it's like the anticipation is the anticipation of it. I can't see this season not being a one for the ages. I can't see it. I
definitely can't see it not being one for the ages.
Everything is pointing in that direction. With all the changes and things of that nature. Of course, we'll talk a lot of NFL. We're going to preview the Eastern divisions in the AFC and NFC. Couple of items to kind of get out the way in regards to catching up a little bit. There are non-NFL items. Well, no, one of them is NFL items. So the two, I would say, it's a fair assessment to say that the two athletes that dominated the summer as far as the headlines were Kevin Durant and Deshaun Watson. What are your separate thoughts on those two? Start out with KD.
You just want my opinion on KD?
Yeah, your opinion on KD on what is transpiring.
Yeah, that is wow. That is loaded. Okay, so we really catching up. Whoa. Okay. All right. So I'll tell the story again where I was traveling and helping out my aging mother. So I had my phone off pretty much all day. And then by the time I looked at my phone, it was 3 p.m. that day. And the first thing I saw on ESPN was Kevin Durant asked for a trade. And I had a very loud reaction, so loud that it scared people in the airport. And I had to quickly say, no, this is about sports. Sorry, everybody, this is about sports. Sorry. So it blew my mind, is my point. It genuinely shocked me. And then everything after that has actually played out very Kevin Durant-y. People have a high opinion of Kevin Durant, and I'm unclear why. To be honest with you, I'm unclear why. He's always been this way, and he's just showing his. I mean, I'm not even gonna be negative like that. He's always been this way, and he's just being more him. I mean, here's the simple thing that everybody forgets in this whole equation: Kevin Durant never wanted to be a Brooklyn Net, meaning that was never his dream spot. He went there because of Kyrie. Kyrie wanted to go to Brooklyn.
Right.
It was Kyrie's place. So when everything fell apart, Kevin Durant said, I'm good. I don't want to be here anymore. And that is the genesis of all of this. Now, it makes no sense. This is the thing that is so Kevin Durant that people just keep forgetting. His moves are filled with irrational emotion. Right. Every move he makes
they're never calculated. They're never calculated.
God, no. It's irrational emotion. And so, why sign the 4-year deal, Kevin? Why?
Yep.
Why?
Yep.
None of this is a thing if you don't sign a 4-year deal. You can go wherever you want. Wherever you want. But then so you lock yourself into a 4-year deal, and then you ask for the trade. That's the part of this that makes this so stupid and so weird for everybody involved. The Brooklyn Nets organization is getting, this is not about them, but they're getting exactly what they deserve. They're just getting
1,000%.
exactly what they deserve. So I have no sympathy, no empathy for them at all. So my ultimate thoughts on Kevin Durant are this. I'm a Celtic sympathizer. When I heard that was a deal on the table, it made me physically ill. I do not want Kevin Durant on any team I'm associated with or root for. He's an unrootable superstar. He's just unrootable. God bless whoever he ends up with. Here's what my hot takes on Durant. Wherever he goes, I've already said this. No more championships for Durant. I said it and I stand by it. No more championships for Durant. He's that much of a team suck. In that. So my ultimate feelings on him is amazing talent wasn't built to carry a team.
No.
And I think that's pretty obvious. I think that was pretty obvious by the team. It was just like a child looking in the newspaper. Who's the best teams? Heat, Sun, trade me there. Like, what? Do they have assets? Like, what? Did you think about this in the slightest of bits? And so, again, the two big things I'll remember about Kevin Durant in his career: irrational emotion all the time, and an amazing talent that just wasn't built for this life. That's what I got on Kevin Durant.
Yeah, my theme with Durant has been the same. He's someone who, from a basketball sense, and I don't know. Of course, don't know what his personal life is like. He's never gotten in trouble. He's been a pillar.
No, don't do this. We're judging him on his actions as a basketball.
Yes, we're judging him. Yeah, right. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I separate.
Judging him on his actions.
I separate.
Anybody saying Kevin Durant?
No.
Or anything like that. We're talking about. We're judging his actions on his basketball. He gets all sensitive about it every single time.
I separate the two. So I'm just speaking from a basketball perspective. From a basketball perspective, he comes off as a guy who is just completely unfulfilled. And I think when you have that trait, you're never going to be happy. Like it's never good enough. Like, Brooklyn gives him everything he wants. Not only the contract, hey, you got Kyrie, Steve Nash. Still not enough.
Again, that's a misnomer. He never wanted to be in Brooklyn.
And he never wanted right. So no, and no, it's the worst combination.
They didn't give him Kyrie. Kyrie convinced him to come.
It's the worst combination of the things that we're talking about: unfulfillment, and also the fact that you're not a leader. So that's a hard that is he's when we look back 20 or 30 years from now, he will be a very interesting case study, because you have this guy who is without question, an all-time great talent. And of course he'll be in the Hall of Fame and all that good stuff, whatever. But it'll be like, I can't put you
George Gervin, Oscar Robertson.
No, I can't. Yeah, I can't put you in a top 10 list all time. Yeah. I can't put you.
When everything's said and done, everybody can talk this stuff now. George Gervin, Oscar Robertson, Terry.
Yes, Oscar. Yep.
Got a championship or two, but that's it.
Yeah, you're right. He's in that category. You will never be in the Jordan, Russell, Kobe, Magic, Bird, LeBron.
I mean, he's not in Giannis category. Yeah, like, let's keep it all
right. We want to keep it funky. Yes, Giannis will surpass him without question. If he hasn't already.
Giannis is there now.
Yeah. So,
Giannis has a real championship.
Yes, this is true.
Durant does not. Let's keep it all the way real now.
And Giannis did it the hard way.
He has a real championship. Kevin Durant.
It is what it is with him, man. I would not, if I were I can understand Miami, because Miami is desperate, what have you. Memphis, if I'm a championship team, Boston, I wouldn't touch him.
What you have to give up.
Yes, you got to give half your team.
This is what is slowing everything down. If Kevin Durant isn't irrationally emotional all the time, you trade for him in a heartbeat.
Right.
But you can't give up those types of assets for his moody ass.
No, teams
cannot.
And to your point, I mentioned this during the podcast about a month ago.
He's a free agent. You sign him, of course.
Yes,
you sign
absolutely.
him. Absolutely.
Teams are scared of his move. Teams are terrified of his move swings.
Jaylen Brown, absolutely not.
No,
absolutely not.
Teams are afraid or scared to death of his move swings. They're like, if you're not happy in Golden State or not happy with your own franchise in Brooklyn, how can we make you happy?
The franchise we chose to go to. Remember, chose to go to. Gave you all the power. Like legit, what does it take to make you happy? Like legit, what?
So
no one to ever say anything bad about you ever. Sorry, Kevin. We can't make that happen. We can't control the world in their opinion. No. Sorry. You're a horrible franchise because we can't control the world's opinions about you.
We will see how it plays out. We'll touch on it later on in the podcast in terms of a question I have for Sapp. Deshaun Watson, he played last week in a preseason game, which I'm sure that the NFL wasn't thrilled. We know all the cases that we know the details of the cases, or not of what's of how many cases are against him and what have you. So I guess a couple of questions. Are you surprised that the NFL kind of did like a 180 in regards to now all of a sudden, when the 6-game suspension comes out, it's like, oh no, Goodell leading the charge. We want him to be suspended a year.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
No, it's complete PR bullshit. That's my thoughts on it. You set it up for argument. We all know Goodell is the hand of God in the NFL.
Right.
And if he wanted to push through a year suspension, you push through a year suspension. But a year, if you start with the year suspension, people will still say that's not enough, right?
Right.
And so you can't start PR wise. You don't want to start there, so you kick it to the arbitrator, whatever it's called. And they come with it, and then you get to play like, oh, how blah blah. You can either go, our hands are tied. The arbitrator has to fight whatever the rule, whatever the new BS thing they said. The arbitrator can do. And then we're going to fight it like they said, or you can go, we're going to fight it like they said they're going to do for the year suspension. So you're trying to turn public opinion in your favor on this. So it's PRBS.
The second part, so I heard his interview a couple of days ago, what have you, as he apologizes to the women, way too late, of course. And I'm gonna tell you, man, he sound like you couldn't be any more guiltier to me. Just sounding his voice tone, like this dude has what I mean, it's like sound. It was like sociopathic, sadistic. It had all the trimmings. Like he sound like a dude that, of course, it was like manufactured per se. And it was like you talk about PR stuff. That those statements he was saying were written off of what have you, that wasn't coming from the heart. That was just something that he felt like he had to put out there from a PR standpoint. But you couldn't sound more guiltier. Like, first of all, if I didn't do anything, I would put my life savings into fighting for my name per se. If I didn't do anything, like I would be like, no, I didn't touch this. Like this didn't happen. Period. I would risk it all. But to hear, so now he comes out 25 cases, and now it's like, well, I'm sorry if I hurt anybody. Like, nah, brother. That's like, no, you mean the toothpaste is out the tube, man. Like, it's like, we know something happened. Because it was clear that something happened. So it's like, go ahead.
Contract numbers real quick.
Yes.
What do you have his contract?
No, I don't. I don't. No, I mean, I know. Listen, I mean, it's $230 million fully guaranteed.
And that's why you get up there and apologize for that.
Yeah, I mean,
That's why you get up there and apologize. It's that simple. That's baked into that contract.
Yeah, I mean, of course, like, yeah, I mean, we know what the. It's. I mean, again, I don't see how anybody could. I mean, it's not. I don't see how anybody could believe him. I I don't know if you heard it. Like Bow said, he sounds like a creep. He sounds like a straight. Like it's straight. Just like sociopathic. Is like this dude has a real problem.
Here's the messaging behind the scenes. You want this money? Get up there and take every bullet.
Yep.
This can't fall on Cleveland. Now that's stupid. They're crazy to think that people are not going to just completely obliterate them over and over and over and over again, which is why he should have been radioactive and nobody should touch them. But they did. And so what they're trying to do is be like, you get up there and you own every single solitary part of this. That's how you get all your money guaranteed. Yeah. That's the behind the scenes conversation.
Yeah. Yep. So those are the two guys who have dominated the conversation over the summer. And you know, we will see. Well, we probably I don't think we're gonna see Deshaun Watson this year on the field. With the NFL, who knows? But I certainly will be curious to see where and when Kevin what happens with Kevin Durant as we near closer to the NBA season. Of course, the NFL season preseason was well as second week of the preseason. I don't know how you feel. You know, I could care less about preseason football unless somebody gets hurt. Most guys, especially some of the quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers, don't even play. So season's a couple weeks away. We're going through some NFC, and then we're going through the Eastern Conference, not Eastern Conference, the Eastern Divisional playoffs, Eastern divisions in the respective conferences. We start out with the NFC East. I broke it up into categories. So I had team to beat, bridesmaid, the 50-50 team, and, you know, missed basically team irrelevant. So my team to beat in the NFC East shouldn't be a shocker. Would be the Dallas Cowboys. Look at the Cowboys. They some of their toughest schedule is not crazy. Their toughest non-conference road games are at Green Bay, at Minnesota. A lot of people are high on Minnesota this year for whatever reason. I even saw a couple people pick them to win the division, which I think is insane. But a lot of people like the Vikings, thinking they can win some of the close games that they lost last year. I think. Listen, I had best case scenario for the Cowboys, 11-6 and a playoff win. Worst case, I could easily see that if things break wrong, I would say 8-9, missing the playoffs. I'm looking at the Cowboys. The offensive line is has aged. It's not what it once was. The defense will be pretty good, but it's not a dominant defense. Listen, I think the Cowboys are just good enough to win that division, which they probably will, and maybe win a playoff game. I'm not looking at the Cowboys as this Super Bowl contending team. I'm not. I actually think they would. I'm looking at the roster last year versus this year. I think they were much better last year, and I wasn't super high on them last year, but I think, as in comparisons, I think they were a much better team last year versus this year. And of course, they still have, Ezekiel Elliott on the payroll. You're paying a guy, one of the highest paid running backs, he's not even the best running back on his team. So there are a lot of
running backs that type of money.
Yeah, 5 years, $90 million. This would be the last year of that deal for a guy who, like I said, I wouldn't even be. He barely would be. He wouldn't even be in my rotation if I on any team. He's not good at it. Anybody watches Ezekiel Elliott, he's just not good anymore. It's just that simple. What are your thoughts on the Cowboys as we go into the season?
Yeah, I agree. I think playoff team, playoff win feels about right. I know we did the our records. So I can't exactly remember what I had, but I feel like it was in that 11 range as well.
Well, no, we didn't do the Cowboys, so they were
We
not
didn't
one
do
of
the
them.
okay.
They were not a contender.
So then,
No, they were
without really,
no.
drilling down on their schedule, just knowing how weak that division is, like it feels like a, with the new, what is it, 11-6, right?
Right.
Record. So it feels like 11-6 record, and it feels like a potential playoff victory depending upon the matchup.
One caveat for the in terms of schedule, you made me think about something with that comment. The NFC teams get 9 home games this year, so keep that in mind in terms of with the schedule. So the NFC teams get the extra game in the 17-game season. The bridesmaids for the division, I had the Philadelphia Eagles. A lot of people are high on the Eagles. They added, of course, AJ Brown with the trading the picks. They have 2 first-round picks in 2023. One, of course, from New Orleans with a trade that they made last year because they had the #1 rushing offense in the league. They're again, the schedule is not crazy. Their toughest non-divisional road game is at Indianapolis. Their season, of course, we know hinges on one Jalen Hurts. They're still not sold on Jalen Hurts. So I'm definitely not. I had them best case 9-8, winning the division at 9-8. Worst case, of course, missing the playoffs. The Eagles. I know the Eagles have some nice pieces. If I'm an Eagle fan, I think 2023 would be. I would be more optimistic about next year. I know football. That's hard to say in football. It's not like the NBA where you rebuild and where we talk about tanking. No, I understand that, but I just don't. There are a lot of holes on that roster. They have some. Again, AJ Brown's a nice player. We know the rookie. I forgot the rookie receiver last year was tremendous out of Alabama. We know what he can do, but defensively, they're okay defensively. I know he finished top 10 last year. Fletcher Cox is not what he once was as a top defensive player. That he's still pretty good, but not what he once was. Again, their livelihoods hinge on Jalen Hurts, and I just don't trust him. I think after a year of adjusting, I think that the league will catch up with Jalen Hurts in that rushing attack and kind of enforce him to be like, yo, you beat us with the throw. You beat us with the pass. Because remember, last year they led the league in rushing. He was a big part of that. He had 10 rushing touchdowns. We know how quickly NFL coaches in this league attacks when something's working, especially offensively. What are your thoughts on the Eagles?
They're not a playoff team.
No, I agree with that.
It's just that simple. They're not. Now, of course, the season will play out how the season plays out and different breaks, different things. But on paper right now, nah. Like you said, we've seen this story too many times before. So Jalen Hurts has to elevate himself as a passer. That's what we just got to see it first before I can buy into anything. I got to see it.
The 50-50 team in the division, I had the Commanders because I can see them being okay, or I could just see them being terrible. That's why I call it the 50-50 team. So they have some nice pieces. Terry McLaurin, the running back, we like the running back. If Chase Young can come back healthy, and what have you, and even some of the draft picks, I get that. And of course, it's almost like baseball when they say hope springs eternal. There's a lot of optimism around the DMV in regards to Carson Wentz versus Taylor Heineke. We both said this when it happened that if Taylor Heineke was a 4, I would say Carson Wentz is a 5 at the most. Like, I mean, you listen to some of these pundits or whatever, people, the talking heads around DC, you would think Carson Wentz is the second coming of Brett Favre. I had them. Hold on, their schedule. I'm not going through the whole schedule, but their non-divisional road games are at Indianapolis, at San Francisco, I had them best case 8-9. They don't have a bye week until week 14. The reason why that's important because they don't have a lot of depth on either the offensive or defensive line. They don't. Of course, we know about the off the field stuff with Daniel Snyder, Jack Del Rio. That's what's new in Washington. That's always something brewing from that standpoint. This is not very good. They're not a very good team. Like I said, best case is 8-9 to me. They will be in that 7, 6-11 between 8-9 range. I'm not as a fan of the team have any optimism in terms of what happened, in terms of what this season is going to bring. I don't trust you. You know how I feel about Carson Wentz. We neither one of us trust them. What do you see when you see them? You got them. They're that bad.
I mean, yo, I really do. I do. I
thought folks. We thought.
Yeah. I'm just like. I mean, your analysis is the analysis because that's your squad, so you know them very well. I have no faith in your team at all, not even a little bit. So I think bad. So whatever the bottom of the division is, and however far bottom they can go, that's them. Them and the Giants can fight out for last place.
Yes, them and the Giants will be fighting out for last place. And that's who I have bringing up the rear, the New York Football Giants. So, folks, when your best offensive player is arguably your kicker, that tells you all you need to know about the roster. About the roster. Graham Gano is an all-world kicker, but it's probably not a good. You probably don't have a good team if he's your top. If he's a legit top 5 best offensive player on your team, which he is. The Giants are awful. They are. I looked at that roster. First of all, and their schedule actually is not easy. That's the funny part about it. They have road games at Tennessee, at Green Bay, and at Minnesota. Saquon Barkley is never healthy. Daniel Jones is Daniel Jones. The best thing they have going for him is the draft pick, Thibodeau out of Oregon, who a lot of people think was a steal at the 5th pick. I think he has a chance to be maybe defensive rookie of the year. But other than that, the Giants just are a dumpster fire. That franchise has been one of the worst run franchises in the last decade. They've been putrid, to say the least. I mean, we're talking about a franchise that you remember they won the Super Bowls in 2007, 2011. And they, but the last decade has, like I said, they've been one of the worst franchises in sports, to be honest with you, in terms of the record and in just terms of just the shit show with the front office. We saw the coaching situation, what transpired with that, Joe Judge and all. They go through coaches and general managers like we go through socks at this point. What are your thoughts on the Giants?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm struggling with these things. I really am.
Yeah, that's why I had to get it out the way. Let me get this. Let's get this out the way.
But when I look at the Commanders, when I look at the Giants, the difference that I see is that the Commanders have a vision for their team, and they have a professional head coach for their team. Versus the Giants, I know their head coach very well. Unproven, and I'm unclear on exactly how innovative his offensive scheme can be, or coordinate his offensive scheme can be, and how much of a talent, how much of a talent, not evaluator. Someone. I'm unclear on how much Dable can get out of Daniel Jones, or if Dable's waiting for the next QB. If you were asking me the old days, I say this smells like a 5-11 for Washington, 6-10 for Washington, and this smells like a 3-13 for the Giants, 2-14 for Giants. That's kind of like the level of bad. Yep. So whatever, add the game, however you add it. I just don't feel like doing the math in my head right now for that extra stupid game. So really bad. Both of these teams really bad. Really bad. But at least Washington has professionals. They have a professional defense. They have professional head coach. They have they at least have players that are going to fight on offense. I do not see that on the other side. I do not see that on the Giants side. So if you're asking me to rank, this is a better question for me, because I truly don't care about the NFC East. If you ask me to rank them, it goes Dallas, Philly, New York. Commanders, New York, with Dallas being the only team that has a chance to make the playoffs.
Yeah, only one
around, but yeah.
Only one team.
I gotta see it.
Only one team is coming out this
division. Yeah. The Eagles will be sniffing around, but I gotta see it. I just gotta see it. But you're right. Only one team is coming out of that division, so the Eagles will have to win the division.
So think about this, Rob. It is conceivable that when we're doing this, God willing, in 2023, that 3 of these 4 teams will have different starting quarterbacks. That tells you all you need to know about the division.
Yep, agreed.
All right, folks. I know that was painful.
Other people might enjoy it.
I know that was painful. Couple questions here as we before we get to the AFC. Before we get to the AFC.
Yeah, a real division.
That's a real division. Yes, a professional division.
Yeah, professional.
If you are the Brooklyn Nets, what would you do? What would you do about Kevin Durant?
Wait, what is happening?
What would you like? If I'm putting you in a position, I'm making you Sean Marks. I'm making you Sean Marks.
What? Kevin Durant came for your neck. He's gone.
So you get you.
Oh, I'm kicking him out the door. He said me or the GM and the coach. I'm the GM. No. Bye, Kevin Durant. The only person who can make the decision over that is the owner. So the owner will have to step in and say, goodbye, Marks. Goodbye, Steve. Nobody cares about Steve Nash.
No.
It's not about Steve Nash.
It's not Marks.
It's about Marks. So what was I gonna say? The owner would have to step in and say, nah, you're done, Marks. Because if I'm Marks, left up to me, he's gone. And I don't even think twice about it. For why am I holding on to Kevin Durant? For what? For why?
All right. Yeah. I said this on podcast. If I'm not, again, it's gonna be, to me, it's gonna be 2 different answers in terms of depending on who exactly is going to make that final decision. I'm sure Marks would want to move on. I think Joe Tsai is trying to do everything to keep Kevin Durant.
Sure.
So that, to me, I think that they will.
Here's the problem. Kevin Durant's not playing ball. That's the problem. It's one thing if he would play ball and be like, okay, like Kevin Durant, shut up and let me handle this. But Kevin Durant won't shut up. And so the best thing was for him to be quiet, say that privately behind closed doors, don't let it get leaked out, and then let the owner do the thing. But now you boxed him in because now it looks like Kevin Durant is controlling the franchise. And as an owner, that can't be the perception. It just can't be. There's too much ego. There's too much pride. There's too much owner. That just can't be the perception. It just can't be. And without a guaranteed chip coming up, like we are guaranteed, like, no. Bye, Kevin Durant. And you don't even think twice about it. You really don't. All this hand wringing is about keeping the story going, but the actual facts of it are very, very simple. You have a malcontent who does not want to be there. If you fire Marks, it will just be something else. I want a new building.
Yeah.
I want New Jersey colors to be to say Kevin Durant's team. Whatever the next thing comes up. Then you're always acquiescing to a player. You know, it's same in our job.
Yep.
Let the children run the classroom.
Yep.
No, you can't. You can't. No matter how smart the kid is, no matter how they're going to boost the test scores. Can't do it.
No.
Can't do it. Kevin Durant may not decide which GM he fires, which coach he fires. He may not make those ultimatums. He may not. He may not.
Which superstar traded receiver will have the better year, Devontae Adams or Tyreek Hill?
Devontae Adams. Just
I
because
agree.
I'm using his quarterback more. Right?
Yep, I agree.
Tua still got to prove it, but I will say this. Tyreek Hill scares the hell out of me. Devontae Adams does not. Devontae Adams was special with Aaron Rodgers. It is yet heretofore seen how special he is with David Carr.
Yeah, I lean towards the better quarterback, which is Carr.
Sure.
I understand what you said. I mean, I understand.
Tyreek Hill scares the hell out of me.
Yeah, I think
Tyreek Hill is a singular talent.
Yes, Tyreek Hill.
Adams has the better quarterback.
Right. Yeah, I think Tyreek Hill is the better player.
Now, if they could be inventive on offense, that I don't love. I've said this. I'm on record. I did not love Tyreek Hill coming to the AFC East. I did not love that. No,
you
did not love that. Yeah. Tyreek Hill destroys us. He does. It's just facts. Like there's no debate on this. He's special. He's just flat out special. Yeah, he's just flat out special. So if they can figure out a way to get him involved in screens, runs, kickoff, I mean, like he could be devastating in a lot of different ways. He can be devastating. Now, do you run the risk of injuring him, doing those things? Who knows? But you gotta win games. And you got a juggernaut in your league, in your division, so you can't just kind of play the field on this one. You got to go all in on your entire offensive philosophy. You got to empty the bag. And so to me, that would mean Tyreek Hill, Rose Hill in the offense, special teams expands dramatically.
Yeah.
He's special. He's just flat out special.
Yeah, I mean, you have to put the ball. You have to get the ball in his hands.
You don't have to because there is a significant injury risk, and I get that. I do get that. But then you're playing for second at best if he's not the focal point of your offense.
I mean, I think he has to be the focal point of your offense, though.
Yeah, I mean, you're then you have to, and then you do have to empty the bag. You do.
Yeah, I think you see. I think
otherwise it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, with a still young developing quarterback, I think you at this point until they see what they need to see from Tua, I think you have to empty the bag. Now, if Tua comes out there and takes a big leap, okay, then we can go, not conventional offense, but we can go in a direction where it's quarterback driven.
Yes.
But right now, Tyreek Hill is by far your best offensive player. Period.
Facts.
So, yeah, but I think Hill. I think Adams will have the better year of the two. We get to the NFC East. Mr. Sapp's division.
Yes, talk about
it. I loved doing the research for this division because it was so. I laughed out loud at least 3 or 4 times. Just some of the stuff that I read. All right, team to beat, of course. The Buffalo Bills.
Let's save them for last.
You want to say them for last? Okay.
Give me them last.
Okay, so let's go. All right, let's get the.
Now I'm gonna give you the order. Let's go: Jets, Dolphins, Patriots, Bills.
You want to go Jets? Okay, so
because I want the Patriots right before the Bills.
The Jets, listen, the Jets are the Jets. Like, the Jets are
perpetually hopeful. Hopeful.
The Jets
always trash.
The Jets are one of the worst teams in the NFL.
Oh, but if you listen to them in a draft, they feel good. They feel good about life right now, as they always do at this time of the year.
Yeah, the Jets are one of the worst teams in the NFL.
They're always a quarterback away.
Yeah, always a quarterback away.
Always.
listen, they have 3-14, 4-13. That's what the New York Jets are. I have no.
Full Robert Sapp this year. Y'all never experienced this version of me. We
I
back,
have
baby. Sorry, we back.
I have no
Jets.
like faith in the Jets. I have not. The Jets do nothing. Like they'll play out the string. They'll have another top 5 pick, maybe number 1 pick. That we can just put. It doesn't matter. Even Zach Wilson not injured. Where he's only on this couple of weeks. It wouldn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. They are who they are. I understand the draft was whatever. The Jets are the Jets. They, like you said, they're stuck in that. They are the Detroit Lions of the AFC.
I mean, I'm not. This is my division, so I gotta be a little bit respectful. I know all these teams well, and so like the pluses are the coaching staff is brand new last year. Let's see what they do in their second year with a little bit more experience. Let's see what they do with that young defense that they have flying around out there, particularly with the new draft picks that they have. I'm not even gonna pretend like I care about who they got in the draft, but sure. But the point being is that everybody is still very young, and so even if you believe in the core of this team, is still a couple of years away from manifesting into something real. Right now, the Jets need to. It's not about the playoffs. You just need to focus on winning games and doing it consistently in a consistent way. Honestly, yeah, building the habits to consistently win games.
Yeah, player development. How about that?
Sure,
Player development.
Sure, let's go with that.
Yeah,
let's go with that. But that doesn't even solve the quarterback situation for them.
No.
I do not. It is unclear to me who is good at developing quarterbacks in that organization.
Nobody.
It's very unclear to me.
Nobody right now.
What are we even talking about, right? So it's like, yep, you can have this. You can try. I don't know what you're trying, but you can try to put up a front that you have a young building team. But until you have somebody in there that you have confidence can work with the quarterback, I mean, you're just in the same sad situation that we were for 20 years, where you're cycling in between rookies and veterans, or young QBs and veterans, and the most you might get is a playoff appearance over a 20-year period. A couple of playoff experience, and they've been in that cycle for forever anyway. So, yeah, Rex Ryan and Sanchez was a long time ago. Yeah, there's not a lot of hope that the Jets are going to be any good. I expect them to fully be at the bottom of this division, to fully be everybody. Everybody's got them marked as a win in this division.
Yes,
everybody's got
them as they should.
This is the doormat of this division, and so let's go with the real thing, where it's I'm seeing 4-13, right?
Got you. No, they'll be around there. They'll be around there. The 50-50 team, and I know their fans probably don't want to hear this, but they are a 50-50 team. That is the New England Patriots.
I know you. I told you I want to say the Patriots before the Bills. I get where you're going. Just so you go, I'm going to defer until before we talk about the Bills.
So okay, the Patriots.
Right before the Bills.
They added Devontae Parker, Ty Montgomery. Malcolm Butler is on IR, so he's done for the season, but I don't think it would have mattered anyway. He's an agent
I'll go
veteran.
In. You're right. You got me fired up. I'll go. Keep going. I'll go in right after you.
Now, Patriots last year, of course, made the playoffs and were, of course, embarrassed 47-17 against, of course, your Buffalo Bills. You have
ask me how many times I've watched that game.
Probably at least 10.
Nope.
20?
So many more than that.
Oh my God.
20 sounds about right. 20 sounds about right. Probably a little bit more, but 20 sounds about right.
I believe you too.
Watching that game. I do.
I'm sure.
I might watch it tonight.
It's
a whole day at work. I might watch it tonight. I love that game.
So we got year 2 of Mac Jones. They last year, because they had a top 5 defense. their schedule now. This is unpatriotic-like. Their schedule is brutal. The non-conference road schedule is at Green Bay, at Green Bay, also Cincinnati, right? At Cincinnati. Here's their second half schedule: at Minnesota, home to Buffalo, at Arizona, at Vegas, home to Cincinnati, home to Miami, at Buffalo. That's how they end their season. Um, so everybody was talking about during, and this type of shit that this is when you're reaching for stories, or I mentioned earlier in the podcast, hope springs eternal. Mac Jones in the best shape of his life. He's looking good. So on and so on. And then you hear after this first preseason game, not whispers. People are saying like, "Yo, what's going on with the play calling? Who exactly is going to call the plays?" And in the game, they had both offensive coaches, both offensive coaches called the plays. Belichick, the usual Belichick, it's a process. We'll see. People are just saying this is crazy, and then the people around New England reporters saying this is crazy, and then you have a situation where listen, again, Belichick is the coach and
Now
general
we don't got to
manager.
do that now. Oh,
Yeah, Belichick is coach and general manager.
Yep. I want to hear
So
about his past anything.
no, that's it. It's a shit show from that standpoint. I read a lot. I've read a few things on Patriots from like various NFL people that I trust, as far as as far as paid newspapers, internet articles, things of that nature, people around the league. They said that this is one of the most least talented rosters in the NFL, not in the AFC, in the NFL. So I had them. I said best connected. I said maybe I'm starting to talk myself down from this. I had them best case 10-7, worst case 7-10. I think that 10 might be maybe way too high in terms of best case. What are your thoughts?
I agree. What 6-11? It takes a while for the luster to wear off of a really good team. I'll use my Bills as a comparison in the '90s, and when they started to fall off, it took a couple years, and that wasn't a dominant dynasty like the Patriots. So it's going to take a couple of years for people to realize how significantly they fall, and this is the beginning of it. This is the beginning of it. The Patriots are a hot mess. They're just a hot mess. And if it wasn't the Patriots, we'd be talking about them like the Jets. They're a hot mess. I know what I've been that fan trying to convince myself on who is my guy that I was convincing myself on Tyrod Taylor, right? Like you just go into this weird space and you just try to convince yourself he's the guy. So I understand what they're doing with Mac Jones. I revel in it, as a matter of fact, because no, and yeah, the Patriots are not a problem at all. They're not a problem. They need to focus on winning games. Patriots will not make the playoffs this year. Their high water mark is breaking even. So what? 9-8. That's kind of like their high water mark, which doesn't get them in the playoffs. I see them significantly lower than that, and I think I made that clear. But if I haven't, then this is where I'm making it clear: 6-11.
Yeah,
mean, I could go in for days.
If you made me guess a record, I probably would lean towards 7-10, maybe 8-9. Because they are beyond. Yes, they are a shit show.
They're a mess. We're only giving them credit because of what they've done in the past. They're
absolutely
a mess.
yes.
They're a mess.
No,
They're
without question.
They don't even know who their coaches are. Like, what are we even talking about?
No, they have. So I got the article. No, I had the article. So no. Here's the thing. So Belichick is going to have Patricia and Judge compete for play calling duties. Like, what?
Sure. Sure.
I've never heard,
Sure.
I've heard,
Either
yo,
one, flip a cone, we still gonna massacre you. So whatever, sure. Either one.
I've never seen, in all my years of watching football, I've never heard it. I've heard of quarterbacks having a quarterback battle. I've heard that. Never heard of play calling. Like we're gonna see, we're gonna see who calls the best plays in preseason.
Yeah.
Yo, oh man, they are such a shit show. It's beautiful. I love it. I love it. Finally, they reached that. Welcome to the club, New England. Welcome. Welcome to the club. Yo, that really just hit me. They're gonna have a battle over who's calling plays. They're competing like what? Oh man, I know you had to be loving this. You had to. I know
Oh,
you.
I mean, I've been all over this. Like that was like, yeah, I've been all over this since the draft. So,
Oh,
yep, I've had all my laughs at them. Now my focus is on my team. So, yep. They're a hot mess. They're not even a threat. So I don't even think about the Patriots, to be honest with you. They're not a threat. They're nothing. And I love saying that. And the fact that I can say that so matter of factly now is beautiful. The Patriots are nothing. They're nothing to us. Nothing. We will walk through them. They just don't want another game like they did. They
no,
don't even care if they win. They just want to be competitive.
right.
They're nothing.
The bridesmaids of this division I had of course, the Miami Dolphins.
Yes.
The Dolphins, of
This
course,
team.
have a bunch of new players, new coach. They have we know Mike McDaniel's the new head coach. They, of course, added some key players. We already spoke about Tyreek Hill. They also bolstered the offensive line with Armstead and Connor Williams. They also got Teddy Bridgewater as a backup quarterback, solid veteran backup. Their schedule as far as non-conference, their toughest non-conference games, non-divisional games, I should say, are at Baltimore, at the Chargers, and home to the Packers. Here's the thing. So their offensive coordinator, they made some changes, of course, to the offense, trying to, of course, bolster Tua Tagovailoa in the passing game. So they got the offensive coordinator is Frank Smith. Darrell Bevel is the quarterback passing game coordinator. Okay. Now, I've never been a Darrell Bevel guy per se. Darrell Bevel has been around for a long time, 15 years, as offensive coordinator.
He was the offensive coordinator of the Seattle Seahawks,
right.
and that shit
Yes, So I'm going there. Yep. So in his 15 years, his offenses have finished seven top 10 finishes, right, in 15 years, which is not very good, to say the least. And most of those top 10 finishes came with the Seattle Seahawks. By the way, that they, so they most of those came with Seattle. So keep that in mind. They actually could have went in terms of 50-50 too, because I had them best case 10-7 wild card, worst case 8-9 missing the playoffs. We know they have some talent, especially on the defense end, and now they have some nice pieces offensively. What are your thoughts on the Dolphins coming into the season?
The Dolphins worried me. They did. I'm not gonna lie. They worried me. I loved their defense last year. I thought their defense was so fast, so quick, and so physical. So I love their defense. I love the additions they've added on offense. I love the speed on the all around team. The question mark, of course, is the coach and the quarterback, and those are big question marks. So that's why that swing is there that you're talking about. I 100% agree with you that it is very conceivable that they are a playoff team and a very hard out. It is very, very conceivable that. It is the structure of the offense that I'll be paying attention to. The eventfulness, no, the event, how how they structure their plays, how creative they are. I'll be paying attention to, and then of course Tua's development. I assume they're going to go to a more quick hitting game for Tua and not focus on the deep ball as much. I'm trying to scheme up ways to get Tyreek Hill open and just let his speed take care of the rest and let the team speed take care of the rest. In that, we'll see how much that plays out. I've seen that work really poorly in the past, but that's just my assumption. I don't know what it's going to completely look like, and no one knows what it's going to be completely look like, and that's what makes it a little bit scary. The thing that people are gleaming onto is that Tua isn't that dude. I'm not convinced of that fact, to be honest with you. I've seen him. I'm just not convinced of that fact. I think he has talent.
And, yes, he definitely has talent. He has talent.
And so you put that skill set around him, that skill set of players around him, and I'm worried. You officially, they have my attention. They have my attention. They do. They have my attention. They could be a problem if it's Mike McCoy, right? Wait, who's the coach?
McDaniel, Mike McDaniel.
Mike McDaniel. McCoy, who remembers who McCoy is? Somebody. So I say that to say that like depending upon how the offense looks and depending upon Tua's development, that is what elevates them to a playoff team in a very, very hard out. Miami's a problem for us. They are. They're a problem.
No, they listen. They have a lot.
They're a problem for us.
They're clearly the second best team in that division.
I really like their defense, real.
No, they have a top 10 defense. That's a top 10 defense.
That defense
is scary.
Good.
It's a top 10 defense.
That defense is good.
No, it was a very good defense. Last year, the numbers.
They just need to start. They start off so poorly. That's their problem.
Yes.
And then they play catch up.
Yeah.
So they have to find that consistency, and then that goes back again to consistent quarterback play, right? And so that's the linchpin. It really is. That's the key. That's the key. Because they have the talent. They have the talent all over the field. They're a problem. They're a problem. They're a problem. They work.
My biggest concern for them, again, I'm gonna go back to the coordinator, this coordinator situation in terms of Darrell Bevell. So like I said, when in those years where Seattle was a top 10 offense, it was not because of it wasn't because of Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, keep this in mind, folks. There's some little revisionist history, not revisionist history, but I want you to keep this in mind. When Bevell was with Seattle, they were a run first, defensive, great special teams type team. That's how they won. That's how they won games. Russell Wilson just didn't lose them games, right? So Russell Wilson was a great, excellent game manager during when Bevell was there. When Bevell left, that's when Russell Wilson took off and became like a franchise superstar caliber quarterback. So I want you people to keep that in mind about Darrell Bevell. He has not shown to me over the course of his career that he can develop a quarterback to like he hasn't. I haven't seen it. So that to me is that's a major question mark for me. Him as a coordinator, especially being the passing game coordinator and what have you. So that worries me.
Do all about deep ball, it will be a big mistake. They've got to figure out to a sweet spot, which I do believe is a more shorter passing game. And the offensive weapons that they have just says they want yards after catch. Like that's their bread and butter. So they gotta be in the lab this entire offseason. That is, they gotta be in the lab. And to your point, the preseason doesn't matter. Nobody will reveal anything in the preseason. So we gotta wait till we see it in the regular season. So if you ask me right now, just based off of this conversation, I'm probably gonna put them in the 10-7 range, but I could see them winning 2 more games and being in that 12-5 range. Without really drilling down, looking at the schedule. But 10-7 sounds more realistic to me, to be honest with you.
Now we, of course, move on to the Buffalo Bills.
We do.
The Bills, of course,
Made me talk about all these other teams first.
are
Nah, you were about to start with Buffalo, and I made you wait for
you
that.
you did.
I did that.
The Buffalo Bills, of course, are without question one of the 4 best teams in the league. They by far have the best but they have by far the best player in the division in Josh Allen, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. They added Von Miller, James Cook, which I thought was an underrated addition.
Yep, it was.
To their depth. They had, of course, last year had a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense. They are considered to be the Super Bowl favorites. They are, in terms of the Vegas odds, has them as the Super Bowl favorites. Their schedule, non-conference, not non-conference, non-divisional. Of course, they kick off the season at Los Angeles at the Rams, at Kansas City. They have a game at Kansas City, and of course, they'll be home to the Bengals. So, of course, that's their next. That is their non-conference schedule, their non-divisional schedule, I should say. Best case scenario, I had them winning the Super Bowl. Worst case, I had first round playoff exit. I think there's like
who beat us in the first. What? You lost your mind.
If Josh Allen's
there
upright,
better be an injury
in
there.
Yeah, they're gonna make the playoffs if Josh Allen is right. So but they're gonna make the playoffs.
I'll lose my mind if we lose in the first.
Yeah, I know you would. So the floor is yours. You're Mr. Buffalo. What are your thoughts?
Yep. Okay. All right. So So peek behind, like the thing that's gonna peek behind the curtain. You asked me about like what's a good segment that we could do, and I was saying stock up, stock down as like a segment based on week to week. How do I feel like? So how do I feel like in chance of winning Super Bowl? So the flat out thing is it is a reality. It is Super Bowl or bust this year. That is an absolute reality.
Yeah.
My team is taking every step that they should take. Now, all the steps have been taken, all of them. The only thing now is to get to the Super Bowl. And for me personally, I don't give a damn about getting to the Super Bowl. I've seen that. Win the Super Bowl. That's all I care about. So that is the only prism I'm going to view this season in, is did we win the Super Bowl? And right now, I could not be more confident. I wish we could do. I think I had them at 13 wins. I wish we could do it again, because I see that opening game and I see us smashing the Rams, just beating them to death in front of a national audience to show that all this hype is very, very real. So I could not be more sky high confident on where we are right now. You know all the names that you talked about. I'm going to give you 2 more. I'm going to give you Gabriel Davis. I'm going to give you Isaiah McKenzie. Gabriel Davis was the one in the loss to the Chiefs that this one will be forgotten. It was Davis. Yeah. 4 touchdowns, over 200 yards.
Yep.
In that game.
Yep.
McKenzie's going to be our slot, so much better than Beasley by Beasley. And then so we're just going to be dominant offensively. And like you said, I love James Cook. I think that's what I was asking for in terms of a running back that you can run a screen for and he can take it 8. That's what we need. We needed that.
What about the offensive line? Because there are some concerns about the offensive line.
There's always concerns about the offensive line,
right?
Because here's the difference between this team and any other team, and this is why we're the top team in the league. We have professional coaches and we have professional general managers. They know what they're doing. They will coach up the offensive line. They always do. So there's always issues around the offensive line, and we get it together, and they will get it together. Because Josh Allen is everything, and there is no world in which Josh Allen isn't protected outside of the running that he does for himself. That L against Kansas City hurt. It hurt. It hurt in every way possible because that was the Super Bowl. It hurt in every way possible. So the reason why I bring that up is because the only thing that stops us from getting to the Super Bowl is that level of player playing at that level, and that's Patrick Mahomes. That's the only thing that stops us. That person right there. And so that's the type of effort it's going to take. In terms of the season, my entire thing is about consistency. I know my team shows up for big games. I'm not worried about that at all. And I know they also show up for teams that they want to kill, like the Patriots. The reason why I don't even care about the Patriots anymore, because I know no matter how bad the Patriots are, what they're everything, we will come to eviscerate them. So they're gonna have to bring their A game just to compete. So that tells me this team is locked and loaded. I watched Josh Allen in those games, and I watched the locked in. If we get that version of him for the entire season, shop closed. Everybody can go home right now, and we'll walk away with that Super Bowl victory. That's my level of confidence right now. I'm looking at your thing right here. New England, goodbye, Jets, get out of here. Dolphins are the only team that worries me, but not enough to not predict victories against them. Like I said, I think even in my prediction, I think I gave the Dolphins one. And so I'll maintain that. Like that could be definitely like one of our slip ups. But we really like beating the hell out of Dolphins. We do. We enjoy that.
No, you own the Dolphins. No, you own the Dolphins.
That's the thing. That's the thing. So when I look at this division, I don't see much competition. I see 2-2 and 1. So that's 2. That's
they'll be 5-1. No, they'll be
5-1.
They might lose one game
to the Dolphins.
Yeah,
that's the only one.
That's it. That's
the only possibility. And then the Dolphins, that's 6-0, and then all the others outside the division are very big games. That's why I just have the ultimate confidence. We're going to smoke Green Bay. I'm saying it now. We're smoking them. Period. We're coming for those teams. The Bengals, bye.
I like Buffalo.
That worries me.
Is
Tennessee.
They don't have
Kansas City regular season game. I'm not gonna say we're gonna smash them, but we're gonna be focused there. And they tend to not be as focused in the regular season. That will be about the playoffs. Us in Kansas City will be about the playoffs. But in the regular season, I'm not as worried about them. The Titans worried me in the regular season. They worried me. Not
in the playoffs, though.
Not so much in the playoffs, but they worry me. The Titans play us weird.
It's a matchup. No, it's a tough matchup.
It's just weird. It's a thing. It's weird. Derrick Henry just goes ham against us. And just weird. It's just weird. It's just weird. I can't ever predict that game, and so I would like to not.
You're not playing. You're playing for the postseason. You're going to be in the postseason. So so it's not the regular season.
That's we're gonna I told you what I thought. If Josh Allen plays like what I saw against Kansas City and New England, shop closed. We taking the chip easy. I'm not even worried. So the only thing I'll be watching in the regular season is for the consistency of play.
The thing that you have going for you versus
also Von Miller, shot closed. Shot closed.
No, I think the thing that you have going for you, obviously you have the talent.
Our defense is dominant, by the way.
The continuity. There's been a lot of change.
Dominant, by the way.
I think I look at you versus the other AFC teams. You out of all the top teams, you to me are by far and away have the most continuity. Like a lot of those teams, we look at Kansas City, Chargers. A lot of those teams made, Denver bringing in all these new faces, new pieces. I do, similar to the NBA, I do think there's something with continuity and knowing who you are. You don't have an identity. You don't have an identity crisis whatsoever. Defensively, you're gonna punch somebody in the mouth. and it's Josh Allen. Offensively, it's just all about Josh Allen. So that's it. That is the identity of the team. It's Josh, it's Josh Allen dominating on doing what he does on offensively, defensively, just punishing people, punching them in the mouth, physicality, the whole 9 yards. So you know who you are. So it's just again, to your point, just a matter of exercising. We saw it, with Georgia.
Real, you want to know my biggest question? Do
What?
we want Odell Beckham?
Do we want?
I don't think I do.
Yeah.
We don't need that.
I don't think you need him, to be honest with you.
He don't fit our locker room. We don't need him.
No. And listen, Odell was on great behavior with the Rams, keeping it a buck. But I think I would be worried about Odell with a championship. And bottom line, he hasn't been able to stay healthy, so that's number one. That'd be number one reason why I wouldn't sign him again. I mean, he's been injury prone.
He's okay being the number 4 receiver. He can come.
No, I'm sure, but I'm saying I don't trust championship Odell. I don't trust Odell with Super Bowl.
Here's the thing. He would at best he's the third option.
But he's not good. Is he gonna really see himself as a third option?
And then that's why you don't bring him. That's again, we have that's the difference now. We have professional head coaches. They're not gonna take that shit. Then you can go. Period. We don't need you.
No.
At all.
You don't. No.
So there's nobody cares. Okay.
It's high.
And we have a professional GM, so he's not.
It's low.
If we do bring Odell Beckham in, he's gonna be on his best behavior.
It's low risk, high reward. I'll say that. Low risk, high reward. How about that?
I don't know. I like that. Honestly, that's my only dude. Like I've heard it. I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, do I want Odell? Nah, I'm good.
No, I wouldn't. If I was in your position, no, I wouldn't touch Odell. I wouldn't touch Odell in anybody's position. Even if I need a receiver, I wouldn't touch Odell. I don't.
Commanders could use Odell.
No, come on, stop.
Y'all need talent. Come on now, y'all the Commanders.
Come on.
Stop. Y'all bums. Stop. Let's not do this.
No. Right.
I get it.
Who are we talking about here?
Y'all need talent. Stop.
I'm gonna put Odell with no quarterback. Really? Odell, so he can complain about Wentz missing balls 8 feet over his head like that. No, that makes zero sense.
No,
that makes stop. No,
I did forget that.
Stop it.
I did forget that.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
You're right.
Green Bay, yes. Green Bay, yes. Green Bay should sign.
I was still thinking about Heineke.
Yeah, come on. Even with Heineke, please, you got 2 backups.
Heineke and Odell would be boys.
No, I wouldn't. No, I'm good. No, I'm good. I'm actually good. No. Yes, we do need talent, without question. We do need talent, but no. Odell, we don't. Here's the thing about Odell, to your point. You have a culture. You have to have a set culture to deal with Odell, period. You have to be that you have a culture. Green Bay has a culture. There's only a handful of teams. The Rams have a culture. The Rams had a culture, of course. There are only about 4 or 5 teams with a infrastructure of a culture, a strong infrastructure to deal with Odell Beckham. It's not that many in the league. We know this. So the culture has to be just out of this world. And even with that, we're talking about a guy who has not been able to stay on the field. But no, I'm not. Odell on a mediocre team, please, no. No, nah, I'm good. So the Bills, of course, should be will win that division. If I had life on the line, I would pick them to win the Super Bowl as well. I think they're the most complete team. I think they have the best roster. They have a superstar, a budding superstar quarterback. They have all the makings of a team that is ready to take that next step to go to the Super Bowl. They've had their heart broken. They had the motivation.
All the things.
Everything's there. No, everything's lined up. Everything is lined
up. I mean, you know what type of fan I am, and I'm more an angsty fan, and like everything's gonna fall apart. Like that's more of my fandom. And so when I first was hearing the Super Bowl talk, I wanted to run away from it, but then I was like, honestly, and I just got. Honestly, there's no other expectation. There just is no other one. There's no other one. Yeah, there's just no other one. You need to, for me, I mean, like the step is make it to the Super Bowl, and then maybe after that win the Super Bowl. But I want to win the Super Bowl in this step. Make the Super Bowl, win the Super Bowl. That's the step. That's the step. Personally, the step I want, but there is no other step to take other than other than get to the Super Bowl. Anything else is a step down. It just is. There's no development to see. You don't sign Von Miller just for a good year. Like, no, none of that. None of that. It just is. Everything just is. This is the year. Period. End of story.
So we stay on the theme of football, but we take a tragic turn in terms of what transpired last week in Lancaster, Texas. Michael Hickman was a coach for a younger league, a little league football team. He was shot and killed by Yaqub Talib, who of course is the brother of former NFL player Aqib Talib. Apparently, it was a situation where they were arguing, coaches were arguing over, got it, over the score. That's what it came out. Coaches were arguing over the score, and one thing led to another. And
I didn't heard about this at all.
And Yaqub Talib shot Michael Hickman a couple times, and he ends up and killed him in front of everybody, in front of kids. It was a crowd. It was like 80. It was like it's just. I mean, it's one of these things. Again, we the violence in this country, of course, is out of control with guns, and we all know that story. But the reason I brought this up, we had the situation in April at the Oscars, right? We were talking about Will Smith and with smacking Chris Rock, and there were a lot of people, there were a number of people who defended Will Smith's actions from a standpoint of, hey, he's defending black women and he was standing up for Jada, so on and so on. And I was like, no, we can't normalize violence when it is not needed, per se. We just can't do it. We can't. This is the reason why we can't, because once you get to that point where violence is an option, anything can pop off. And we saw it here, a football game where you get where you in front of kids, where you're arguing over a call over the score of the game, and that leads to, and then you decide to, well, you don't like what he said, so instead of handling it after the game and saying, hey man, let's talk, let's hash this out, let's talk it out, let's chop it up. If we had a emotional point to do so, you pull out a gun and take a man's life in front of a bunch of kids, and you really, like, from all reports, this guy Michael Hickman was a pillar of the community. He was a father, husband, guy that was seemingly beloved throughout the whole community. So, like, he's gone. There's no coming back from that. And the amount of trauma that those kids will be dealing with for the rest of their lives, and just what he could have done. The guy was 43 years old, same age as me. What he was going to do further on in his life, that's over with. So I brought this up because again, and I'm not. If you think I'm blaming Will Smith for this, no, you just completely missing the point. It's not about Will Smith. Will Smith's not responsible for this. I was just condemning the action of unnecessary violence by Will Smith. And again, this was the reason why. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, this is tragic. I just hadn't heard this story. This is just tragic. That's tragic.
I mean, it's just like, and again, the important thing to come out of this to me is, especially us as educators and parents, anybody that's around kids, this is why you teach critical thinking and problem solving skills that don't result in violence. Like, this is why we have those. You've had many meetings. I've had many meetings of problem solving, trying to figure things out. Less from that standpoint in terms of with younger kids, because it's gotten to a point where it just, I mean, violence has been is normalized. It's just, I mean, you know, we see it all over the news every day, every day, every minute of the hour that something is popping off. So it's the only reason that I brought this up, um, because it's up to all of us. Everybody, even if you don't have a kid, if you're around kids, if you whatever, it's up to everybody to contribute to like preventing something like this from happening. This should not have happened. Period. This never should happen. Not even come close to happening. So, um, I hate to, you know, end the program on that. We'll save the game and the album. We'll say that for later. I know I know you have to go, so
Yeah.
we'll say that for later. Certainly good to have you
Quick
back.
check in, but there's gonna be so many of these.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
we're gonna get through this year. I'm very excited.
Oh
Very
yeah,
excited.
oh yeah. No, it's gonna be a great year.
I'm gonna talk big shit this year. I'm just letting everybody know.
Rob is gonna be very.
I got all the words. I do. I do. I do. I do. I'm here. I'm here. I
You
got them
are.
all.
You are.
I'm feeling good.
All right, Mr. Sapp.
All right,
I will
sir.
see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right, you too. Have
All
a
right.
great one.
That's gonna wrap it up for this edition of the Real Deal podcast. We're gonna save I had some stuff on the game and the album and what have you, but we'll say that. We'll say that for next podcast. We'll say that for the next podcast. Um this podcast will be up before the will be up tomorrow. I will catch you next time. Enjoy the rest of your week. So long.